Hey, it's Michelle from Made by Michelle McGraw, and it is January 9th, 2023. This is my first Flosstube of 2023, and I have a lot to share. So first off, I was not able to make the retreat down in Florida, Annabella's All About Winter retreat. I said on my last Flosstube that we were done traveling. We're not. I lied. We're not. Actually, I didn't lie. My husband bought more stuff. So technically we were done traveling with what we had bought. We had gone right down before the end of the year to another auction. It's not in Atlanta, but like outside of Atlanta. These are big equipment auctions. So my husband has done this for years, longer than we've been married. So we went down there to that auction, and he bought 2 conveyors, and he also, as we were paying, they had some no-sell pickup trucks that they had in the auction. My husband asked him what they wanted for them, and that was an acceptable price to him, so he bought 2 pickup trucks. Why do I need 2 pickup trucks? Because we have a business. So like one of them is a parts truck, and the other one is for one of my sons to drive back and forth to work so that he's not driving his good truck. It literally looks like there is 25 people that live in my house because we have so many vehicles. My middle son has 4 trucks. One is a work truck. One is his good truck. One is another kick around truck that he's rebuilding. And the other one is a truck that he just bought. Apparently it has a good motor. I don't know. I don't know. They're constantly buying vehicles. My husband's just as bad, so I can't even say anything. So anyhow, we bought those. I had to drive both pickups back up to Charlotte. So he took a conveyor up the road on one load, and I drove a pickup behind him. And then we went down a couple days later, and he did the same thing. He drove a conveyor up, and I drove a pickup up. So that was that, except that the auction company told him about a whole crusher system that was for sale. So if you don't know, in my business, what pays for all of this, for all of my fetishes of cross stitch, we recycle concrete. We crush concrete. So people bring us concrete that they have torn down a building, a house, a driveway, whatever it is, and it's concrete. We crush it, big, huge equipment, and we crush it into stone products. So instead of digging it out of the ground, we're taking concrete that's already, it would end up in a landfill. We crush it and sell it for resale. You can use our material for anything that you could use regular rock that you would get it at a quarry for. So that it requires a lot of equipment, as you can imagine, big, big, big equipment. So there was a whole crushing unit. We ended up buying it, which is going to be lots and lots of loads up the road. It's not in Atlanta, it's outside of Atlanta, so we don't actually have to go through Atlanta, so that's a little bit better, but we do either have to go through Columbia or Gaffney, South Carolina. Gaffney's roads are awful. They're widening the road, so there's always an accident on the highway, so that way sucks. And then if you go through Columbia, South Carolina, Columbia sucks too. So it's not great, but I don't have to do Atlanta traffic. So maybe that's better. I don't know. Anyhow, so we have that now. So that will be at least 15 loads, and I guarantee you it's more than that. Fun times, fun times. So that's going to come into stitching plans later, which we'll talk about. But I have a lot of fully finishes to show you. I did not get all of my finishes done for Christmas. So you're going to see a lot of fully finishes hopefully throughout the whole year. And I'm going to weed down my pile of finishes that need to be fully finished. So let me show you my fully finishes that I did have done for Christmas this year. I just didn't get to show them on a Flosstube. So I was obsessed with doing circle and oval finishes. I watched Vanna Pfeiffer's tutorial, who is the Twisted Stitcher on YouTube, and she explains it very well. And actually, I think a circle finish is very forgiving because you do a running stitch around the edge, you cinch it in, and it's gonna take the shape of your circle. It's so easy. I actually think it's easier than a square finish, a square flat finish. So I got a little obsessed, but I had so many ornaments that worked really good with circle finishes. So I will, I do have my die cutting machine up here because I've gotten some questions on die cutting, because I used my die cutting machine from scrapbooking to cut out my circles. And then what I did was just layer them and glue them. And that was the base, instead of using mat board or trying to cut mat board into a circle, which I'm not good at. I use my die cutting machine. I will show you that afterwards for anybody that had questions, because I had a lot of questions, and hopefully that will answer some questions for you. All right, let's get to the finishes. All right, my first finish is from Primrose Cottage, and it is the, I think it's called Religious Trio, and it's Silent Night. And I did not bring any of my cards over here. Shame on me. I went to go get them and I forgot. I did stitch this on a scrap piece of fabric. It's an Aida, probably a Picture This Plus, but I don't remember what color because it was a scrap. And I finished the back off with some Lady Dot Velvet that I had in stash. And then I put a gold ribbon on the piece. So that was one of my finishes. Now with Lady Dot Velvet, I don't put my iron on tag. When I iron the velvet, I iron it from the wrong side, just lightly to get any creases or anything out of it. But it doesn't do great on an iron, and I'm afraid it will burn it. So I did not put a name tag on this one. My label, I guess I should call it. Okay, my next one, this is a very old whip that I am getting out fuzzies that I had. This is a Barbara Anna, and I want to say that it came in a magazine, Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher, I think. I don't remember what year. I've had it done for a long time. This was actually one of my first projects that I ever did on Monaco, and just to try it, and it wasn't bad. I did end up changing all the colors. Let me come in close. I did end up changing all the colors on this. I just kind of brightened them, and I also used a toile. You probably can't tell, but it is all sparkly. I think it's entirely a toile. Yes, every single color on here is a toile. So I just wanted something sparkly. So I finished it into a circle, and on the back, I used this Santa fabric that I had. There's my label that I was able to put on there. And then I had this yarn trim. I've had it in my ribbon box for a long time. It is a Stampin' Up ribbon. A lot of my ribbons that I use come from my scrapbooking days. And I have 3 containers that have ribbons in them, and I just dig through them to find something that works, that matches. I will tell you, this was not my favorite. This is why it doesn't have a bow, because this ribbon did not tie in a bow well. But that's okay. That's okay. So I thought it matched. It was cute. I used it up and I threw away the rest because I didn't like working with it. I didn't have that much more. I was like, okay, I'm done. Done with that. All right, the next ornament is actually, I had stitched these. I planned on making like a dough bowl of all of these, and then I kind of decided I didn't want to do that, but I had 2 pieces stitched. I'll show you both of them. This is from Good Morning Maui. It is on a scrap. I think it is, it was from Stitchery Express, and it's a scrap of, oh, what's that printed material? I'm trying to think. I don't remember. I don't remember the name. The name has come out of me, but it's from Stitchery Express. It's just a scrap that I had in my drawer. Of course, that is Princess Leia. The designer is Good Morning Maui. And I had stitched these, like I said, to do little pillows. I decided, you know what? I think they'll make cute little ornaments. So I finished her into an ornament. This is the backing fabric that I had. I have some Star Wars fabric, and I just picked a piece of it and put it on there with my label. And then of course the ribbon on the sides is from Stash as well. So I thought it all matched well. Here's another one that I did the same thing. This is from Good Morning Maui on Etsy. And that is I think her title called it Baby Yoda, but if I'm not mistaken, she has renamed this one, and I don't remember what she renamed it. I think she renamed it like so that Disney wouldn't get on her, because it is her art. So it's not technically, I don't know. I think she renamed it so that they wouldn't get on her, but I think you're allowed to sell if you draw it yourself. So it's not like, definitely this is her style. I think she just renamed it, but anyhow, I don't know the things on this. She's been on there for a long time. He is super cute. And I finished him off with some more of that fabric. And then the ribbon was just what I had in Stash. Okay, the next ornament was an adaptation, and this is, it's from Jess. Her YouTube or her Instagram name is Jess Got You in Stitches, I think. Is what, and it's got some underscores in there. I will try to link her in the box below. I've showed this before. This was an idea that she had done. We had a retreat piece for Asheville. She's not a fan of stitching houses, so she changed the house to a vehicle from Stitching with the Housewives. I decided, first of all, I thought that was brilliant. I decided to do an ornament to remember the first cross-stitching retreat that I went on, which was in Asheville with Annabelle's, and I have Asheville in the license tag and the year. I think Jess did the same thing. I think all of that. She just did hers as the retreat piece. I did mine as an ornament. I finished the backing with some plaid that I had that matched, and then the ribbon on the side just from Stash. Okay, this is another very old ornament that I stitched. Now, there's a reason why I've stitched two of these. One I finished into a pillow because it was a snowman, and it's out with my winter stuff now. This one, let me show you. I think it's a dimensions chart or a kit, and I picked my own fabric. The reason why I only did two of these is I hate, and I don't say hate very often, I hate this fabric. You can't really see it, but it's opalescent, but it is, and I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say it, I don't remember exactly the company. I think it's a Picture This Plus, but it's really, really old, so it may not be, it might be another company that I'm thinking of. But that opalescent is on dark fabric. It doesn't look bad here, but when you're stitching on it, oh my gosh, it was the worst. So I decided I was not going to do the other two in the kit. So I finished these. I've had them sitting around, and honestly, like, they're a circle, so I didn't know what to do with them. So when I started finishing circles, I was like, I'm pulling this out and finishing it, because he is really, really pretty. This is my fabric from the back. And this is a piece that I got down in Atlanta a couple of years ago when we went to an auction. We stopped at a quilt store, and they had little pieces of fabric, and I bought several of them, and just for finishing ornaments and stuff. And so I used that up, and then my ribbon is from Stash. So I think he turned out really good. I'm really glad that I waited to make him a circle finish. Now on my circle finishes, Vonna recommends 2 layers of batting on the front. I found that I love 2 layers of batting. It just, I don't know. I think it looked better. I did them with 1 layer, and I did them with 2, and I liked 2. So much so that I even did 2 on the back side sometimes. Batting makes everything very forgiving, and I just really, really liked it. Okay, next up is an ornament that it's called Mr. Claus. I thought I had the pattern here, but I do not. This is from Teresa Kogut First time I got her name right. As my sister said, she's like, you know, you murder her name. And I'm like, I don't know why she just doesn't change her name so I can get it right. Anyhow, I am in her Patreon. This was a Patreon for December, I believe. And it's called Mr. Claus. And I stitched him, I know it's on 18 count fabric. I cannot remember, I can't remember the color. It is a Picture This Plus. I want to say it's title, but that doesn't, I don't think that's right. Anyhow, it's from Picture This Plus. I stitched him. I think he's super cute. Teresa is a wizard with color, and I really, really enjoyed it. The only thing I changed was I did add the year right here. So I didn't know how I was going to fully finish him when I stitched him, but a circle finish was perfect. And I love how big he is. Even though I did him on 18 count, he's a good size ornament. This is probably a 4-inch circle, 3 3/4 maybe. Here's my backing fabric. And of course my tag. And then the ribbon was from Stash. So I love how he turned out. Because I joined Teresa's Patreon, I really want to do some of her Patreon. That's why I've joined, right? And so he was one that I really wanted to do. I don't believe I showed you the finish on this one. If I have, act surprised. This is the free hippo pattern from Blue Ribbon Designs. And I followed Fiona, that is a hippo born to the Cincinnati Zoo. And I just loved watching. She was a premature hippo. And so I added Fiona's name to the bottom. Oops, I got some lint on there from something. I added her name. I did it in an oval. Now, I did make a mistake. When I put the fabric on the back, I put my tag the wrong direction. My tag should be this way. Oh well. Santa fabric on the back and ribbon from Stash. So he's an oval finish. Ovals are just as easy as circles. Okay, so this is one that I stitched while I was at the Asheville retreat. Chrissy, Java Girl, has a brilliant adaptation of this pattern where she doesn't stitch cut your own Fraser for the white. She just stitches the letters. It's brilliant because I did not enjoy stitching all that white. But I stitched that up. I love the wagon. This is from Stitching with the Housewives. Love the wagon. I think this is an 18 count Black Ada. Here is my finishing fabric on the back and the ribbon, which I thought matched well. Okay, the next one is from JBW Designs, and this was the angel that she has. Now, it does say angel on the pattern. I left that off. I did her as a circle finish. I stitched her in a red variegated fabric or thread. I don't remember the color. I don't remember. It is on murky fabric. What count is this? This looks like it's 18 count murky fabric. And then this is the backing fabric that I did. And I did a silver sequence ribbon on it. Now I will tell you, I could not make it into a bow, which is why I have a different color bow up here, or different style bow. That sequence did not go into a bow. So I don't know that I'll use the sequence again like that. It was a little hard to put on unless I have a really good matching bow to go with it. But I mean, it's cute. I like it. Something new, something different to try. Okay, the last one, this is from Barbara Anna, and I'm trying to think of the big chart. It's got an alphabet on it, but anyhow, this is the Santa. I only did the Santa. This is on 18 count, Picture This Plus, murky. I only did the Santa. I think he's super cute. I did him as an oval. And then there's my backing fabric. And I just used a white ribbon from Stash. He was a little harder because he has pinks in him. So it was hard to find a fabric that matched. But I think the backing fabric kind of pulled that in. So I enjoyed him. Now I want to show you another fully finished. This is not mine. This was gifted to me by a dear friend, which was so sweet. I'm not going to mention who it is, but some people might recognize it. Some people might not. It's beautiful. It is Prairie Schooler, and it is so pretty. So very pretty. And I'm so thankful. So, thank you, sweet friend. You know who you are. I enjoyed I immediately when I opened it up, I immediately put it on my tree. So it did get a couple days on my tree and before I had to take my tree down. So that is going to be a very treasured ornament. And I think Vanna Pfeiffer did the finishing on this. No, I know Vanna did the finishing. So it's really great to see something professionally finished. And I highly recommend that. Send one of your pieces to a professional finisher so you can see the quality and how it feels, and kind of try to emulate that in your finishing. That's what I try to do. I am by no means an expert, by no means, but I'm trying. And I have a couple of goals for this year, which I will share in stitching plans. So let's get to the finishes that are not fully finished. So I have a big finish to show everybody. I'm going to leave it to last. The first finish I'm going to show you is from Teresa Kogut's Patreon. This was our December Patreon for tier 2, 3, and 4. And I think this is a sweet chart. This is called A Sweet Song. It's really cute. I love the snowman's face. So, I wanted to do this, but I wanted to do the snowman as a stand-up. So I just stitched the snowman. Now this is stitched on 14 count Fiber on a Whim Night Sky. It is one of my favorites to use in place of black if you don't need black, but you still want the look of something dark. And there he is. He is so cute. I really enjoyed stitching him. And if you'll notice, like even if you did it on black fabric, his hat is stitched with a lighter color on the outside of it. So he would still show up on black, which that's a really good thing. Teresa she's just a master, and I just really enjoyed stitching him. So my plan is to finish him into a stand-up. I would like to have some stand-ups for each season. So in other words, at Easter, I have a couple kitted up that I want to do that are bunnies, finished into stand-ups. I'm going to do the snowman. I have previously done a bride and groom for our wedding anniversary month. So I put them up. They're up now for like Valentine's Day, and I leave them up through the first March 8th, and then I take them down. So I get a good month and a half with them. And those are really cute. So I have some ideas for some more stand-ups. He will be finished into a stand-up eventually. All right, so my next finish, it is from Pine Mountain Designs. Now I've had this kit, what year is this kit from? February 2014. I've had this kit for a long time, and the kit came with the finishing pillow. So if you've never seen one of these, you pop your stitching in here. It's already sewn. You just pop it in here, lay it in here. Now, the thing I don't know is, do some people put some glue in here to keep it in? I mean, it's not going to fall out because there's a good lip in here. But I didn't know if they actually glued it in, or do they just pop it in and leave it? I mean, I'm not going to take it out and redo anything. I also thought about putting a little pin here to kind of pin it in, like a little charm pin. Here is my finish. I did change out the fabric. The fabric that came with the kit, I don't remember, I don't know what color it was, but the the white wasn't showing up. Why is this darkening? I'm sorry. I have a new phone, and so it's kind of doing some funky stuff with the light. I'm sorry. The white didn't show up, and I'm a stickler that I want my white to show up. So I changed this to golden needle, I think is what it's called. 14 count golden needle Ada. It's just from Picture This Plus, or from 123 Stitch. So that's a little finish for Valentine's Day. That did not take long. And the great thing was that I used up this kit that's been bulky in my drawer for a while. So it's really, really cute. Pine Mountain Designs. I think you can still get this chart. They have their own website. You can also look on 123 Stitch, but they do sell on their website as well. And it's just really cute. I love it. I have a dough bowl on my table. Matter of fact, I'm looking at it. That just has Valentine's Day finishes in it. So I like those little finishes. I just stick it in there and they're out for Valentine's Day. I did not bring this chart with me, but it is from Stitching Mama and it is called Plaid Alphabet. And this is the very first ornament that I did for 2023. And I will explain in plans what I'm doing. So if you haven't seen this on Instagram, if you haven't seen my cutting of the fabric, okay, that's a goal this year to stop doing this, to stop doing this. I hack at my fabric sometimes because I'm in a hurry or like I'm in the truck and I'm cutting a piece of fabric off of a yard of fabric that I brought with me because gosh forbid I run out of fabric, right? This is how my mind works. So I hack at it and this is what I end up with. And yeah, I don't know. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. So this is from Stitchin' Mama. It's called Plaid Alphabet. And I have done these for my kids. I did their names. Well, as y'all know, my oldest son is engaged and his fiance's name is Mackenzie. Now, she spells hers M-A-C. And so imagine 3 more letters out here. As you can see, it's a little long. So she was okay with me just doing Kenzie because that's what everybody calls her. And I wanted her name in plaid. So they're on both their Christmas trees. Kyle will have his and she will have hers. So this is my first finish of 2023. My snowman was my second finish and the Valentine's was my third. So I'm happy that I got this done for her. She did want green and I picked out 2 colors of green that I thought they're in the 500s. I think like 502, 503, somewhere in there. All right, my last finish. And this is a big one. So I have been working for a while on Thistle's Snow Stop. Now this is supposed to be a doorstop. It's supposed to be big. The directions have you stitching over 2, yes, using 3 strands of floss over 2 threads on 18 count. So you're going over 2 boxes on 18 count, making it bigger. That was the first time I've done this. I've also done that on the Prairie Schooler Christmas, Night Before Christmas banner. I used 18 count and I stitched over 2 to make it a little bigger. So that's a neat trick. So if you have some Ada and you have a project that you want a little bigger, I'm not a huge fan. I have used it before of 7 and 10 count fabric because the holes are so big. But if you stitch it on 18 or 16 or even 20, 22 count, the holes are small and you stitch over 2 like you do on even weave and it can make your design bigger. Now, how do I do that? How do I know what size? Because I stitched up I kitted up a bunny that I wanted to be bigger. So I'm stitching it on 20 count, I think is the way I kitted it up. So it'd be slightly bigger than just stitching it on 14 or 25 count. I use the app in my phone and I put in my stitch dimensions and then I take all margins out because I only want to know the stitch design at that point. And I play with it and you can hit the button and it says stitching over 2 and it'll change like your dimensions. And so that's kind of how I figure out what I want to use if I'm doing that. So that's a great way. You can do it with math, but the app is so much easier, especially because I don't know. Sometimes I'm looking like, well, I have something at 18 count, I have something in 20 count or 22 count, but what size do I want it? So there you go. All right, this is done. It's finally done. So he is a big guy. Now, my plan is to finish him as a stand-up. He's going to be big. He's going to be huge, and I can't wait. I am not going to fill him with lizard litter because I won't be able to move him if I fill him with lizard litter. So he is going to be stuffed with polyfill, which reminds me, I have to order a new box of polyfill because he's going to take a lot of polyfill. I wrote down the color, but I don't have the card with me. It's like a bluey green. And I really like how he turned out. This pattern on him is just gorgeous. So he's really, really cute. Love, love, love him. That pattern is a lot of work because you have to pay attention, but it's worth it. He's really cute. I really, really enjoy him. And I can't wait to fully finish him. He's going to be a big stand-up, so we'll see how I do it. It's going to be a ginormous stand-up. I love it. All right, whips. What have I been working on? All right, I don't have much progress, but I thought I would share my progress. I was trying to do, I have to get my cover page out because I covered it up. My nose is itching. I was trying to do 30 minutes a day on this chart, and with us traveling, I did not do 30 minutes a day. So the other day I brought it out and I stitched just a little bit on it, just to get some time, maybe an hour, hour and a half on it. I was also doing laundry, but this is a beautiful chart. This is from Teresa Kogut, and it is Beauty Fades. And the first 1,000 people that joined Patreon got this chart, and then she realized everybody loved the chart, so she released it, that you can buy it in her Patreon store. So you could see the flowers. Now, I am modifying this. I am not doing this band, which is just the alphabet and the letters, and I know that that's a bad picture. It's got flowers, pots, and the alphabet. I'm leaving that band off, and I'm doing this band, and that band. So, with that said, what is my progress? So, you'll excuse the strings that I have hanging. This is on 25 count Pebble Even Weave from Lori Holt. And I finished more on the flower and the leaves, and I started on the saying that's by the girl. So there was a lot of fill-in that I did on the leaves and stuff. So not much progress, but I did add to it. I really, really enjoy stitching on this one. So it stays by my stitching chair, and when I'm home, I'm gonna grab it out and put some more stitches in it. It's just gonna be a work in progress, and I'm just gonna keep trugging along. But it's so beautiful. And really, that picture does not show how beautiful it is. Okay, my next whip, and I'm gonna go into stitching plans because that way it makes sense. So for 2023, of course, I always stitch seasonally. And I try to stitch ahead. I try to stitch ahead that I have enough time so that I can fully finish that piece for the year. Now that doesn't always happen. And sometimes those pieces get carried over to the next year, like Snow Stop. I think that got carried over like 2 years. Like that was a huge project. So I'm going to still stitch seasonally, but I'm probably going to take my seasonal stitching down just a little bit for the season. And I'm adding with the Traveling Viking Mom, Cow Stitcher, Lovin' Stitchin', and oh, there's one more. I will try to link everybody down below. they came up with, I first found it on the Traveling Viking Mom's Instagram, and she said the goal was to 52 ornaments in 2023. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy, but what a fun goal, right? Like, that's fun. I can't wait, because oh my gosh, she stitches amazingly. And the more and more I thought about it, I thought, that's kind of a fun goal to do. Now, it's goal to. It's not a must do, okay? It is a goal. And I thought, I really was not done stitching Christmas. I had the best time stitching Christmas this year, and I just wasn't done. I still was enjoying it. And I thought, well, this is a great way to keep stitching Christmas. I do 4 ornaments per child. So if you include my son's fiance, that is 16 ornaments. That's 16 ornaments right there. Plus my niece and nephew's ornaments, that's 18 ornaments. So I'm already at 18 ornaments. What's 52, right? So I started kitting up some ornaments, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stitch ornaments all year long. So the very first one I decided to stitch was Mackenzie's name. And I got that done, and I thought, okay, what else do I want to do? So I went through I went through all my Christmas stuff, and I pulled out anything that could be parted out into an ornament, or anything that was an ornament size. It all went into a 31 cube on the shelf. So when I want to stitch an ornament, I can pull that cube out, and I can kit something up, and I can make an ornament. So the very first one that I found is from, this is just cross stitch, let me get the year, 1998. So this one, I don't have the front cover, or I'd show it to you, because I bought it as a whole magazine, and I think the way she did it, she took off the front cover. I think there's a reason why they do that, but I really don't know. Anyhow, I have the whole magazine, I just don't have the front cover. This is the one right here, is from Birds of a Feather. Now, I'm a huge Birds of a Feather fan. There are a couple patterns of Birds in the Feather that I would love to do. I have not come across them yet. I hunt for them. If I come across them in my searches, I will definitely snag them up, but so far I have not. The 2 that I've wanted, I think they're 4 angels in a pattern. I think they're all in one pattern, but there might be 2 separate patterns. I think it's one though. So they're just angels. You can make them into ornaments. Love those. I think they say peace. They have other words on them too, but they're angels. Love them, from Birds of a Feather. The other one I just recently saw was a Birds of a Feather nativity, and it was beautiful. Somebody had stitched it, absolutely gorgeous. I had never seen that chart. I've never seen it for resale. Birds of a Feather, of course, is a discontinued manufacturer or designer. And so their charts some of them are harder to get, others are easier to get. But those are 2 that I'm always currently searching for. I had never seen this one. I have never seen it released. Let me see if I can cover up so it focuses better. There we go. So I love the look on the kids' faces as if they hear Santa. And I love the look of Santa's face as if he knows the kids heard him. And I love a cut through house. So that is my second ornament. I've been working on it. I am stitching this on 18 count raw opalescent linen. I think that's the name. It's not linen, it's 18 count. You can see the sparkle to it. And the color is not showing up well, because this is a lot brighter. Let me see if I take myself out, if it shows up better. Kind of. Now, I will say I've already had to adjust some colors on this. The deer was originally kitted or charted in, let's see. It is all charted in weeks. It was originally charted in Loden. Mine is green. I did not want a green deer, so I just changed the color on him. And you can see, if I go up close, there's the deer up there. It's hard to see in this color, but he stands out really good on the fabric. I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, I also don't have those lights on over there. Okay, well, sorry. I've done half the Flosstube, realized I don't have a light on that I normally have on. It's fantastic. All right, before I do stash, I wanted to talk about die cutting machines. So the die cuts that I use are these circle ones, oval ones, and I have a bunch of die cuts. These are left over from scrapbooking. Lots of places sell these. Scrapbooking.com. Any of the rubber stamp companies generally have their own dies. Catherine Pooler Inc. She has dies. Ellen, oh, there's another website. I will try to link it down below. It's a big craft site. They have dies. Simon Says Stamp, they have dies. If you get dies, they are thin metal dies. They have a ridge on them that cut the paper when you put them through the machine. And it's very hard to see the ridge. There, you can see the ridge. Very hard to see the ridge. My advice to anybody that wants to do this, one, use very good cardstock. I use Nina White, and it's a thicker cardstock, and I cut it and layer it. You could also use comic book. It's not called paper, but comic book cards that you put your comic book on because it's acid free. And this, my die cut will cut it by running it back and forth in the machine. You have to do it twice to get a good cut, and that it will cut. It will not cut mat board, that's too thick. It will not cut foam board, it's too thick. So the comic book is a good alternative to use because it's thick. I still layer them about 3 on a comic board if I cut them, but the dies will cut them. So I recommend, if you're getting dies, get one with lots of different circle sizes. As many circle sizes as you can find. Same with ovals. There's a lot of different sizes in here. So what is a die cutting machine? Now, mine is electric and mine is not available anymore. So I'm gonna take the cord out so it doesn't dangle. The gold standard of die cutting is a Big Shot. A Big Shot is a machine that you hand crank the sandwich through. So you get a platform and you get some cutting plates. You put your die in here, your paper in here, and there's directions on how to do it. You put it through your machine, you crank it through the machine, and it cuts down through the paper, and then you have your die cut out. Now, the Big Shot is the gold standard of where they all start. There are electric machines and then the Big Shot, which is a hand one. I do a lot of felt die cutting. So I got the Vagabond years ago. It's a Siskiyou Vagabond. Now that doesn't look like anything, doesn't look like a Big Shot if you're familiar, but if you press the top, the sides come down and that's how it goes through. It literally pulls it through, and there's just rollers in here that roll it through and cut. The die is doing the cutting. This is just pressure, so you do have to have your plates done right. There are tons of videos on how to do it. Mine is no longer made, although there is an electric Big Shot out there. There is the Gemini, which is a electric die cutting machine. It works a little, it's the same concept. It looks a little different. I have a Gemini. The reason why I have a Gemini is because I found them discounted for $30 at Hobby Lobby one time. And I bought a Gemini for myself, and I bought one for 4 of my girlfriends. I bought 3 at one store, and then I went to another store and found some more. That's the only reason why I have a Gemini. I'm not as great with the Gemini as I am with a Big Shot type machine because that's what I started on. So this is the same size as a Big Shot. Now you are limited to the width of this here of how big your die cut could be. A Gemini is bigger. I think it's 8 inches where this is 6 inches. So as you can see, these plates go through and then come back out. That's as simple as it works. So Google some die cutting machine tutorials, Big Shot, Gemini. I know there is one from, who's another one? Big Shot is Sizzix. There's another company that's a hand crank one that's popular, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyhow, Google beginner die cut and you will see. There's lots and lots of options. I'm going to say the Big Shot is probably going to be the cheapest option because it's a hand crank, but there's lots of options out there. When I bought my Big Shot, and I used to have a Big Shot, and then I went to the Vagabond, and when I was kind of scaling down, I kept my Vagabond because it's electric and it's easy. I got rid of my Big Shot. So, but it works the same. It's just electric. If my electric machine stopped working, I would totally get another electric machine because it's super easy. But when I bought my Big Shot was $99. I know Stampin' Up sells them because Stampin' Up has their own labeled Big Shot, but you can also get them at Michael's and Hobby Lobby. And then the biggest thing is finding the dies that you want. And like I said, get as many circles as you possibly can, as many ovals as you possibly can. And then you would just stack those circles together, glue them. I put them underneath a very heavy book to make sure that they glue flat, they stay flat, and then let that dry. And then I bring them out to use them. So I hope that answers some questions. I am definitely not a die cut expert, but I use them in scrapbooking all the time. They have die cuts that you cut out your stamped image and it cuts around it so you don't have to fussy cut. And so it's just a cheat to make it easy. There's Leo. So it's a cheat that I did for the circle one. So anyhow, I hope that helps, but there are lots and lots of tutorials on YouTube. So go ahead and look those up. All right. I have stash, and I already talked stitching plans. Stitching plans is I will continue to do some seasonal, but I'm working in ornaments throughout the year. I hope to make the goal of 52 ornaments in 2023. We will see. We will see. It's a fun goal to do. Some of these ornaments are going to be like, this is pretty involved to stitch. Some of them are going to be easier than that. So we'll see, but I've already got, I'm on my second one. So there you go. All right. What did I get in stash? I don't have much stash, if you can believe that. I did not do a lot of truck shopping. Maybe because I had to drive a truck up the road one way both times. So I didn't get truck shopping done. I did place an order with Pine Mountain Designs. They are one of my favorite designers. I love their stuff. This is Recipe for a Snowman. It's super cute. It says, Recipe for a Snowman, fresh fallen snow, 1 carrot, 2 twigs, mom's buttons, dad's scarf, and the warmth of young heart. Isn't that cute? I also got Wondrous, which is a really cute Christmas scene. Not the best photo of it, but it's really cute with Santa going over the little town and the church. Very cute. I got Springtime in the Village. This is Welcome Spring. I'm trying to get the glare off of here. There we go. Bunch of Hocus Pocus. Halloween is just a bunch of Hocus Pocus. Really cute. This is Far Better Things Ahead, and it says, there are far, far better things than anything we leave behind. I think that's really pretty. And then this is Winter Typography, and it is just a bunch of winter words, but really cute. Oh, bad glare. The next thing I got was How It Began With Us from Stitch and Stash, the House of Stitch and Stash, and this is from Rika. You do have to order this from her. She is on Instagram, but this is a great sampler, and it says, that's how it began with us. You held out your hand and I took it. How sweet is that? She bills you per PayPal, and then she sends it, and it came really fast, and she's overseas, so that one came really fast. So, all right, some of these are Teresa Koga, her monthly Patreon ones. So this is Needle and Flax. I like that lady. I think she's really cute. And the little sewing tomato, and I just think that's cute. This one is I Live in a Cottage. And it says, I live in a cottage and yonder it stands. And while I work with these two hands, I'm happy as those with house and lands. And this was January's Patreon. That is a big piece. Is her Patreon worth it? Yes. This is Happy House, Patreon for January. Happy is the house that shelters a friend. Really pretty. You also get coloring pages from Teresa that you could do punch art with. You could do felt as well, any kind of felt work with that. So I always pull those out. And then this is one that I ordered off of Etsy, although I don't know if it had a PDF, but apparently I ordered the chart. It took a while to get here, but this is Madame Chantilly, Santa on a Vespar. Vespar? Yeah. Vespa? I don't know. Vespa. Yeah. All right. Anyhow, he is super, super cute. Now, he is big, but I really liked him. I'm going to have to figure out some way to stitch him because he is huge. Let's see. He is 125, 106. He's not that big, but the chart is nice and big. I love him. I just like, and I like the idea of having a tree with all different kinds of Santas on him. So he was super cute. Okay, and my last one, this is actually getting stitched up after I stitch my 2 rabbits that I want to do. So this is Farm Fresh from Cherry Hill Stitchery. And this is beautiful. I loved this chart as soon as I saw it. Love, 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 love. So I will be stitching this. I have 2 rabbits to stitch, and then this is being stitched. This will go out for my farm stuff this summer. So the colors are really pretty in this one. So I'm excited to stitch that up. I need to get that kitted up so it's ready to go. Okay, that is all of my stuff that I have to show. I'm still working and stitching. Do I have something else over there? No, I don't think I have anything else. I might. I'll show it next time if I do. Like I said, I'm going to be working on my seasonal stitching, but I'm also going to be stitching ornaments. So you're going to see lots of ornaments. My goals for 2023 is to ornaments, to master cording. I've never done cording before. I want to do cording. To do some more seasonal stand-ups. I would like to do some more for each season. And just have fun with stitching. These are all goals. So like last year, the only thing that I did not meet of my goals was in my nativity set, I wanted to stitch 3 more pieces. I only stitched 1. That was the only one that I didn't meet. But you know what? It's fine. So this year, when I go back to full-time stitching Christmas in July, which I always do, I'm going to focus on that nativity set first so I can get a couple more pieces done. So those are my goals. I want to fully finish more. I think I did good at the beginning of the year and then fell off on fully finishing, which is so easy to do. And so many people say that. So when you see people that fully finish a lot, every single person will say, oh, I gotta go fully finish. I'd rather stitch because it takes different brain power. And I know that sometimes when I have a day of fully finishing, I need a break so that my brain can kind of reset, kind of be, and when I come back to it, I'm fresh and I'm not tired, I'm more creative. So it would be a great goal to finish once a week and get my pile down. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. It'd be a great goal. We'll see. I will still be stitching and still be sharing. So I hope I answered all the questions on the die cut. Like I said, go watch some videos on YouTube about die cutting. And then go price in your local Michael's, Hobby Lobby, go price a big shot. And if you want a big shot or if you want a electric machine, the electric machines are quite a bit more money because they are electric. Some of them get great reviews, some of them don't. So do your research on that. I would start with a manual and see how much you actually use it. Because I used my big shot for probably 10 years before I got rid of it. And there was nothing wrong with my big shot. I just had too many machines. So it was easy for me to say, I'm going to keep my Vagabond and I'm going to get rid of my big shot. If you have a die cutting machine, there are also felt stitching dies that you can get. Pashta Designs on Instagram. I will try to link her. She sells ones. She designs them and sells them. And she has seasonal ones that come out and they cut the stitching holes in it. So they're super, super easy to use. Now you need to use 100% wool. You don't use the craft wool from the store because it gets fuzzy. So you do have to use good wool, but I mean, that's not a big deal. Lots of places. Benzie Designs carries really nice wool felt that cuts really beautifully because I have a lot of theirs. And there's Otis. They're going to start barking, I know. So they're going to see like a squirrel or a leaf or air and bark at it. So, all right, I'm going to sign off. Happy stitching. I will see you soon. Thanks.